Today in the Smugglers Room, we're all about starting our cantina build. But there's a particular item that I need to really pull this off. And only one maker in the entire Outer Rim that I trust with this project. So let's give him a call.
What's up, Chubby Geek?
Hey, I'm building a cantina, and you know what I need.
Of course I know. You got the credits?
How about a trade?
What do I look like, a Jawa? Okay, so VanOaks Props builds 2 epic IG heads, and in exchange, you
build the ultimate geeked out beer tap and an equally epic illuminated IG-88 head display.
Sounds like I need to build something out of nothing.
And I need to go make something.
Working with a smuggler, I should have my head examined. But that's coming up.
What's up, you awesome geeks? I'm Brian and welcome to the Smugglers Room. This week, this chubby geek is excited for 2 reasons. 1, we're gonna have Fat Bantha beer on tap, and 2, we get to work with our friend Derek from VanOaks Props in this collaboration. Derek has an amazing channel called VanOaks Props, and he does a variety of different things, from sci-fi to haunted to horror-related projects. He shares techniques that will take your props from basic to movie quality with common materials. So first things first, we want to encourage all of you to give him a look and see all the great stuff he has to offer. Now, I've said a few times that one of our goals this year is to spend more and more time delivering content based on our room build. And this week, we thought we would dive into an area that's been neglected for far too long. The bar area, or as we're going to come to call it, the Smugglers Cantina. So when Derek reached out about doing a collaboration build, he had an idea that became a no-brainer for our cantina build. Let's take a look at what Derek put together. These are dueling iconic Star Wars props right here. You likely recognize them as the shape and style of the head of IG-88 in The Empire Strikes Back, as well as IG-11 from the Mandalorian series. What you may not know is these were also seen in the back of the bar of Mos Eisley's Cantina, and I had a chance to see these designs on display in Olga's Cantina at Galaxy's Edge. It's an iconic piece of Star Wars universe, and it was originally the combustion chamber from a Rolls-Royce engine. What I really love is the absolute perfection that Derek delivered to both of these props in the way they are weathered, painted, and created. And we want to do them justice in both our project and another. As a matter of fact, today, you can go over to VanOaks' channel and watch Derek assemble these heads, do all the painting and weathering, and he has some incredible tips that I'm 100% putting into our arsenal. So after you're done here, take a look at the link below and head on over there. While you're there, why not subscribe and check out what else he's got to offer. Alright, all that said, let's dive into our project and get this cantina bar started. For us, this starts with the design. Krista drew up the measurements and the design in AutoCAD and then used it as a base to get a feel for the overall look we're going for. Lists making has become something I can't live without. It keeps me on track and lets me know when I'm falling behind, which is always. Oh, and I enlist the Adam Savage method of marking progress in squares. Do you use this method? Now, no self-respecting smuggler would just put in a tap rail for looks. No, no, no. This is a cantina, and it's going to have a fully functional beer delivery system with as many bells and whistles as I can provide. And that starts with a kegerator. All the parts included in this specific kit we'll list below, including all the add-ons that we did. More on that later. Okay, this entire project is based on a tap rail, which is what I'm calling it. The industry calls these towers, pass-through towers, U-towers, H-towers, and so on depending on the design. I'm going to call it a tap rail to keep it simple. So we're going to use a 4-inch PVC pipe as the rail itself. That's going to connect to 2 T-junctions on either side. Then we'll connect those T-junctions to a 4 to 3-inch reducer and finally end in a toilet flange. The toilet flange can bolt directly to the countertop, and then we can run all of our lines through the center of the tube and feed our tap system. That, in turn, delivers fresh, cold Fat Bantha beer to my mouth and makes me super happy. I'm using a step bit to drill out our first tap pass-through, and I covered step bits recently in 4 tools every maker needs. It's one of our Geekication videos. You'll find the link above and in the description below. This 1-inch diameter PVC pipe is what our first tap is going to connect to. It's also what the IG head is going to be positioned on. Now, for the actual tap box assembly, I found an outdoor aluminum electrical box. This is a real-world item that I can modify and make work exactly for what I want. And that makes it all the better, my friends. I took advantage of the time I've been putting into Fusion 360 lately, in large part due to the awesome course Bob Claggett with the I Like to Make Stuff team put on their website. You'll find a link to that below. With these new skills, I was able to do a prototype and a 3D print of a custom part that would connect my electrical box to the 1-inch PVC pipe. I have to say, to run into a problem, draw up a solution, manufacture the part, and put it to work in less than 24 hours sort of makes my head spin. There is a lot to cover with 3D parts and the versions of things that I made in this project. So what we're going to do is put together a geekication on problem solving using 3D printing so that we can focus directly on how I came up with the ideas, what I did to process through it, and how we were able to create those parts and pieces. And I promise we're going to have that up really soon. Okay, I just had to share this with you. We needed an interesting greebly that Carissa noticed was sticking out of the bottom of the taps at Galaxy's Edge. So while I was in the big box store, I splurged a whole $1.24 on a sprinkler head because it was a perfect fit. The beauty of this is I got the part I wanted, plus several other pieces I can use for other projects, all for under $2. I love the sprinkler aisle. It's full of so many great pieces for low prices. And here's another 3D print I came up with. I wanted to mirror what I saw on the taps at Galaxy's Edge, and one of those was what looked like the hyperspace throttles you see in the Millennium Falcon cockpit. So I modeled up a few parts that mimic the design that we could use for the tap handle. Then I laser cut a few parts to work as our Fat Bantha beer label and added it to the top. One thing I love about working with my wife Carissa is not only does she have an incredible eye for design, not only can she build right along with me, but she also sketches and brings things to life on a paper in a way that I can't. I love to watch her flesh out designs, choose color, and work her way through an idea. Plus, at the end, we end up with a great drawing that we can save or display. Sketching is one of those awesome ways to get your ideas out into the real world without spending a lot of time and money on material. Okay, time for some paint. On this, we wanted to match the ironed weathered look that Derek was able to get on his IG head that we're keeping for this project. So after a base spray of paint of Rest Rud and hammered iron, Carissa dove in with a mix of black, burnt umber, copper, rich silver, and a little bit of unbleached titanium. All of these colors combined get us most of the way there. I really love the dynamic shades and colors we're getting, and it's very iron and worn the way I wanted it. But I'll tell you, after we watched VanOaks Props paint the IG heads and some of the special tips he shows in that video, I am all about ready to try those on this and add another layer of dimension. Okay, it's time for assembly. All of these parts have mechanical connections, which gives us the ability to take the entire thing apart and put it back together. This is pretty critical considering we may need to clean or replace hoses, the taps, and so on. There's really something to be said about building something that you can mechanically take apart and reassemble. It's one of those things I learned in Every Tool's a Hammer from Adam Savage, and I've applied it to a lot of the things I do in my shop. Now I don't know about you, but I'm really thirsty after all this. I know we only have one tap in place, we haven't hooked it up to the kegerator, and we can't even pour an actual glass of beer yet. But we're gonna get there really soon. We have all the other taps and designs to add to this, but I think the IG head will be the star of the show. In the films, the head is static, without lighting, but I'm tempted to get some lights installed in this thing. Now, do yourself a favor and go over to VanOaks Props YouTube channel and watch Derek put these awesome heads together. The tips on painting and weathering is outstanding. And while you're there, subscribe and have a look around. You're gonna love his projects. Oh, what's that? You wanna know what we're gonna do with Derek's IG-88 head? Well, I think we'll build something super awesome that he can display in his own home. What super awesome thing, you say? Well, you already know what I'm going to say, my friends. You're going to have to come back the next time we build something out of nothing.